When Andrea came through a few weeks ago, it dropped 6 or 8 inches of rain in this garden. And then about 6 or 8 days later, we had some really bad thunderstorms and rain, and another 4 inches fell on the garden. And I had a lot of plants drooping. If you can see that second plant right there in the first row, see how it's drooping? Makes you think that it's not getting enough water. Well, the other thing was, it'll droop like that if something happens to the roots. Well, that stake there that's all bare, that plant's been drooping for quite a while, and it was dead, and I cut the little nylon ties off of it and just pulled it out of the soil. Sorry, I had to cut that off because there was a big dog barking with a golf cart going by. But I pulled that plant up, and that's what I found. Totally dead plant, not producing. And that's the roots. This is where it came out the ground. That's rotted off because of too much rain, too much water. For you people that are new to my channel, this ground has 1 inch of topsoil, and under that's 4 to 21 feet of clay. It is hard as a brick. You cannot dig in it with a pointed shovel. I weigh about 250 pounds. If I put both my feet on the shovel, it will not penetrate the soil. For about the last 9 years or better, I've been improving this soil to where I've got 8 or 10 inches of man-made soil through compost. The problem is, all around the outside edge of this garden, it's 1 inch of topsoil and clay, so this 1,500-foot garden is nothing but a big sink. So when we had all that rain, 10 to 12 inches over a short period of time, and no sun to bake it off and make it evaporate through the top of the soil, it got some of these roots, and I was afraid I was going to lose it all. Now I'm going to lose that second plant because I'm sure that's what's going on with this one. But that's what happens when too much water gets in there and there's no way for the water to get off because of all the clay under it. It just won't drain. It has to percolate up through evaporation. And with not a lot of sunny days in that period of time, it rotted. You can see none of this is really white. These roots would be white colored like that little place right there. But there's no fibrous roots on this. There should be a ton of fibrous roots on it. It just rotted in half. So I pulled it up, and I might lose that one. Now I got some spares still at the house in 6-packs that are about 40 inches tall laying over. But I could probably put 1 or 2 in here if I want to. And hopefully I won't lose any more. Now I got a feeling that since these 2 weeks ago, a year ago, I did a video, and you can look it up on my channel. Just go back 2 weeks and find, I shot the camera right down the rows of the tomatoes showing the walkways. You couldn't see the stakes, there was so much foliage. Now I have a feeling that all that rain has only killed this plant and more than likely that one, but it also killed some of the roots on the others. This is the roots that led down to what was in the milk carton. I had about 18 inches of root under the ground. I have a feeling that all the roots I had in the milk carton on most of these plants have died, and they're surviving only by the roots on the upper part. And that's why they're not as green and as lush and as full, because last year you couldn't see the stakes. The only way you could see the stakes was at the bottom. But anyway, that's what happens when you get too much rain. You got a bunch of clay underneath it and there's nowhere for it to go. It just rots. So I'm down to 51 plants and might be down to 50. Well, all these tomatoes have been tied up. I need to pick some of these cherries. I picked 5 or 6 big ones and a few cucumbers. These old Rutgers aren't doing too bad. I'm 5'11", the camera's at my eyes, so that's well over my head. And Rutgers generally in a normal garden, being a determinate plant, won't get more than about 4 feet tall. But they got a lot of tomatoes on them. And these are 25-year-old seeds, folks. So I'm not too unhappy with those. But you see, these are loaded. They have quite a number. That one there has very few. See where most of the tomatoes are not on the bottom. They're up here at the mid-range to the top. And the plum tomatoes, they're pretty heavy. That's some Romas. And that plant doesn't look healthy. See the yellowing on the leaves? I might have another root problem rotting out from all the rain, because that plant is definitely not going to be here long. And my big old red one here, orange one, is starting to turn. And hopefully between now and tomorrow night, when we get back down here, nobody's come in here and barred it permanently. I can't complain considering all the rain we had. And we'll be into them if the rest of these plants stay alive.